according to an Ojibwe story, the creator at one time was having a really hard time keeping the universe together. So this little worm went to the creator and said, I got you, boo. And the worm created this imperceptible web that she spun all around the universe to hold it together. And out of gratitude, the creator gave the worm the ability to spin her own web, cocoon, that she would eventually emerge from in wings of full color and fly wherever she wanted to fly. So the point of the story that we can take away is that everything is connected. We are all connected in this unseen web that holds us all together. As much as we may think we're different from people on the other side of the universe or the other side of the whatever spectrum, we are still all connected. And it's our responsibility. We have the gift, and we can use that gift responsibly to weave together the different strands of our life, whether it's despair or joy, whether it is black or white. We can take all the different strands of our life, however different they may seem, and weave them together into something that will allow us to transform into a state of freedom. So on our mat, we're going to take all the poses that we do, the ones that are more difficult for us, the ones that are easier for us, and weave them together into a practice that hopefully will allow us to transform. So we're probably not going to be, transformed like the Buddha at the end of practice. It could happen, but what we could transform into is a more settled, more grounded, more prepared version of ourselves to go out into the world and show our colorful wings, show our talents, and contribute those to this connected, interwoven universe. Find a seat that's comfortable for you and close your eyes. And welcome yourself home, into the body that you call home, into this space, whether you're in your own home or not. The space that you're occupying at the moment serves as your home. Feel the rhythm of your breath, and know that every living thing is breathing in its own way, in its own time. And that breath we breathe connects us one to the next. Bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra, and make a commitment to try to be present in your practice. Our minds are going to wander off to other things than the poses, than the breath. But when you notice that that's happened, come back to the present moment, come back to this home of your body, and know that we are all doing our best to weave all the strands of our life together into something that lifts us up, that allows us to fly. Release your hands down into your lap or onto your legs. And as you inhale, sit a little taller, grow that spine, pull the shoulders back, and open your eyes. All right, if you're playing music, now's the time to press or tap play on the playlist I put in the chat, or any music that you want to play. I do need to warn you that I was re-listening to the playlist as I was practicing to get ready for class today. There is an F-bomb in there, just to let you know if you're using my playlist. All right, we're going to come onto our backs. Music or no music, come onto your back on your mat. So we'll start in Shavasana and we will end in Shavasana. So come on down, let yourself settle. Once you're on your back, take a really deep inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Do that 2 more times. As you inhale, really let the chest and the belly inflate. And as you exhale, let your back body settle into the earth. And then hug your knees into your chest and rock over your back. Just ironing out the muscles across the back body, especially around the low back and the hips. And then straighten your legs so that your soles of your feet are pointing up towards the sky. If you've got a little discomfort, instability, even pain in your low back, wedge your hands underneath your hips here. Otherwise, take your arms out to a T, glue your low back down to the floor, glue the inner legs together, and as you exhale, start to lower the legs down to the floor. We're going to take them all the way down. Once your legs get to the ground, keep them at attention. Don't let them just relax. Keep them strong. Wrap your arms over your chest. And now you're going to rock mostly across your upper back. So try to rock to one side and clear the opposite shoulder blade off the mat. It's going side to side, opening the upper back up a little bit here. And then inhale, come to stillness, take your arms up, interlace your fingers, turn your palms up towards the ceiling, and then really reach those upper arms away from the shoulders, and then plug back in. Keep your hands interlaced, but bring them above your head, palms facing away from your head. And then again, really stretch the upper arms up out of the shoulder sockets, and then plug back in. Either take your arms to a T or wedge your hands underneath your outer hips. We're going to lift those legs back up. Belly in, low back on the floor, glue the inner legs together, and then lift the legs up here. Make a figure 4. So with that right leg, slide the right leg down until the right ankle is just above the left knee. And then you can bend the left knee, take your hands on either side of the left thigh. So we've got a figure 4, a reclining pigeon here, and then hug your left thigh in towards your chest. So we're going to try to come up to a boat pose holding this figure 4. So pick your head up. You're really going to reach forward with that left foot, curl into the abs, come up into this boat pose figure 4, if you can get there, and then regular boat pose, arms out in front, take a breath in, and as you exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. We're going to lift the legs up again. Put the wedge of the hands under the hips, if that helps your low back. Lift the legs up. And this time we take figure 4, bending the left knee. So cross the left foot in front of the right leg. Slide that right shin down until your left ankle is above your right knee. And then bend the right knee. Reach your hands on either side of the right thigh and hug in here. All right, now we're going to try to come up to that boat pose with figure 4 legs. Take a breath in, lift your head up, and then push forward through the right foot. Come up into boat with figure 4, maybe, and then regular boat, arms out in front. And then lower your feet down to the mat. We're going to scoot to the back of the mat. So walk your booty back. Feet on the mat, take your feet out as wide as the mat is and bring your hands to your heart. Point the elbows out to the sides. So it's tough for me to sit up tall here. If you're really trying to, if you're rounding a lot, caving into the front of the body, do your best to sit tall. Take a breath in. As you exhale, take both knees over to the right. So you can think about your shin and your thigh making a 90-degree angle, and then turn and look back over your right shoulder, pulling that right elbow back. You're looking towards the back of your mat. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, knees go to the left, and then you twist around to the left. Inhale, center, back to the right again. We're slowly walking up towards the front of the mat. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees go left. Twist, look to the left. Inhale, center. Cross your legs. It doesn't matter which shin is in front, whatever you like. Arms up overhead. As you exhale, circle your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Keep your chest lifted as best as you can. And then lift the hands away from your back. Lift your gaze up. And then as you exhale, forward fold. Lifting the knuckles up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, come back upright. Change the shin that's in front. Change the thumb that's on top. Pull the shoulders back. Lift the arms up. And then exhale, forward fold. Really reaching the fingers up towards the ceiling as they're interlaced. And then inhale, lift back up. You can release those hands, shake them out a little bit just to warm up the wrists, get the wrists ready to go. And then we're going to stand at the front of our mats. However you want to get up to standing, come on up. Bring your hands to your heart. If you haven't already, now is the time to start creating a more intentional breath. So this can simply be making your inhale just a little longer than your natural breath. So you have to pay attention to it. That means the exhale is going to be a little bit longer. If you want to up the ante, you can make Ujjayi breath. So it's a little toning in the throat. So you hear your inhale and hear your exhale. It doesn't have to be too complicated, the breath. It just needs to be steady in a rhythm and a breath that you have to pay attention to keep it going. So make it a little longer. As you inhale, take your arms up overhead, lift up. As you exhale, forward bend, fold down to the earth, let your head go. This is our first standing forward bend of the practice. So we'll take a couple of breaths right here. Keep as much of a bend in the knees as you need to so that you feel both stretching in the backs of the legs, but also a lengthening of the spine. Sometimes if the backs of the legs are tight, all we feel is the backs of the legs. That means you need to bend the knees a little bit so you can get the spine to lengthen as well. Inhale, lengthen forward, long spine here, front as long as the back. Exhale, downward facing dog. This is our first downward dog of the practice. So we'll take a little bit of time here. Look back at your feet, make sure they're parallel. Generally, that means you can't see your heels if the feet are parallel. Hug the biceps in near the ears and lift the sitting bones up towards the sky. Take a big breath in through your nose here. Exhale through your mouth. Next inhale, come into plank pose. You'll know your downward dog was a little short if you had to shimmy your feet back. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Tops of the feet on the floor. Lift the heart up towards the sky. You're trying to lift the ribs away from the hips. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg back and up. So exercise the muscles on the back of that right leg to help you lift it a little bit higher. And then exhale, lunge your foot to the top of your mat. High crescent pose. Back heel is lifted, arms up overhead, biceps right near the ears. So charge those arms up, make them strong. Instead of just having loose arms hanging out here, the whole core is cinching in, holding you, but not on lockdown. Take a little back bend here. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, take your gaze up to the sky, reach your thumbs back behind you. Inhale, come back up. On your next exhale, eagle pose. We're gonna stand on the right leg, cross the left leg on top, and the left arm under the right arm. Really press those elbows forward. You can round your back. In all the bird poses, eagle's a bird pose, you round the upper back. And then exhale, knees and elbows come together, squeezing in here. And then inhale, lift back up. Keep the arms wrapped together. Lift that left leg up, stretch it to the back of your mat so you're back in crescent with eagle arms. Take a back bend here, lifting those forearms up towards the sky, and then unwrap the forearms. Big crescent pose here. And then exhale, hands down to the ground. Straighten your front leg and fold over it. We'll take a couple of breaths right here, folding over the leg. We take what we've got, we weave it into something that will help us find freedom. Maybe a little bit of freedom in the back of that right leg is all we can ask for at the moment. And then hands down to the ground, one leg dog, lift the right leg back and up. You have an option to take a one leg vinyasa here, or put both feet on the ground, do your vinyasa. This is your time here. You can skip these vinyasas, maybe hold a downward dog, maybe a child's pose. You have to work with what you got this morning. From your downward dog, inhale and lift your left leg back and up behind you, stretch it up high, and then use the muscles on the back of the leg to lift the leg a little higher, and then exhale, lunge it to the front of your mat, reach it up between the hands. High crescent pose, back heel is lifted, reach up overhead. Hug the belly in, and then think about lifting up through the ribs, growing the spine longer before you back bend. If you keep the ribs sitting, the low ribs sitting right on top of the rim of the pelvis, you're just gonna collapse into your low back. So you use that inhale to lift and then the exhale to back bend. Inhale, come back up, eagle pose, stand on the left leg, cross the right leg on top, and the right arm under. You can really round that upper back here, opening it up. And then as you exhale, lower your elbows down and have the action of lifting your knees up. That's going to help you work into the core and hold the balance a little bit better. Inhale, lift back up, keep the arms wrapped, release the right leg, stretch it back behind you. And then take a bigger back bend here with these eagle arms, lifting the forearms up towards the ceiling as you back bend, and then unfurl the arms, open them up and back behind you. Exhale, hands down to the floor, straighten the front leg, fold into it. Maybe shift your hips a little side to side, maybe bend and straighten the knee. What we don't want to do is bounce here or bounce the knee back and forth. So be intentional as you're moving in the stretch. And then flatten the palms down to the mat. One leg dog, reach your left leg back. Take that vinyasa, or this is your time. Maybe your vinyasa is holding a downward dog and feeling your breath. All right, everybody's looking good. From your downward dog, look at the front of your mat. We're going to move the feet from the back of the mat to the front. So that could be a lot of little steps walking forward. It could be 2 big steps, or maybe a hop forward. Fold over your legs, and then inhale, stand up all the way, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's stand on the right foot. We're gonna balance here in 2 poses, standing on the right foot. So take your gaze in front of you and find something. If you're looking at me on your screen, I'm gonna be moving. You wanna find something that's not moving out in front of you. Put a micro bend into your right knee. It's much easier to balance if you've got a bend in the knee than if the knee is locked out. Dancer pose, bend the left knee, reach back with the left hand, grab onto your foot. We'll take a couple of breaths here just to open up the quad. And then stretch your right arm up. So for dancer, your heart leads the way forward, not down towards the floor. So pull both shoulders back. And then as you hinge at the hips, reach the heart forward, press the leg back. Try not to fold forward so that your heart is down towards the floor, but try to keep it lifted out in front of you. And then inhale, come up, standing pigeon pose. Cross the left ankle above the right knee. Bring your hands to your heart. Send your hips back as if you were going to sit in a chair, and then lower them down. Staying with your focal point to help with the breath or to help with the balance. Using the rhythm of your breath to help with the balance. And then inhale, stand back up, plant the left foot down onto the mat. Let's flow here now. Use your breath. Inhale, lift up. Use your exhale to float down. Inhale, lengthen. Take your vinyasa here. I'll meet you in downward dog. Or maybe downward dog is your vinyasa. This is not a competition. It's not about how much you can cram into a practice. It's about doing what feels right for you each moment within the practice. We are looking to come out of here with our true colors flying. And you can only do that if you're following what your mind and body and heart are ready for today. From your downward dog, inhale, lift your right leg back and up. One time, bring your knee into your nose, lift your back up away from the floor, and then plant your right foot at the top of your mat. Come up to warrior 2. So turn your palms up, everything is connected. Take your gaze out in front of your front hand. We're gonna keep the gaze out in front. Straighten the front leg, bring your arms up overhead and see if your fingertips will touch. So little finger to little finger, ring finger to ring finger, and so on. And then exhale, lower back down. We're gonna do that 2 more times, just working on this proprioception. Inhale, lift up without looking. See if the right finger can find the left finger. Exhale, lower back down. 1 more time, lift up. Fingertips touching overhead, and then exhale, back down to warrior 2. Windmill your hands down to your mat, lift the back heel up. One leg dog, take the right leg up. We're gonna walk the hands to the back of the mat. So we'll be in standing splits at the back of the mat. Standing on the left foot, use the muscles on the back of that right leg to lift it up a little bit more. And then lower the right foot down to the ground. Stand in forward fold at the back of your mat. And then inhale, rise up. We're gonna take both arms up overhead and leave them overhead. Shift your weight into your right foot. Lift your left knee up to hip height. So it's gonna take a lot of hip flexor strength and core strength to keep that knee lifted to hip height and straighten the leg out. And then plant your left foot about halfway forward on your mat. Airplane pose. Bring your hands back by your hips, or you can have your hands on your low back. Lift the right leg straight back behind you. Keep the heart open here. Inhale, still balancing on the left foot. Take the arms up overhead. Bring the right knee up to hip height. Keep the knee lifted as you exhale. Press the heel forward and then lower the right foot at the top of your mat. Come into half moon pose. Stand on your right foot. Lower the right fingers down. Reach the left arm for the sky. Reach the left hip. Yes, you're looking great. That's exactly how you do it. Keep your focal point steady. And then if you're ready, bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand, maybe a strap. Grab your foot. This is called half moon sugarcane pose. So make it sweet, whatever it means for you. If you don't quite get the foot, don't worry about it. You're just reaching the foot behind you and pulling your left shoulder back. Good job. Gently release the foot. Lower it to the back of your mat, both hands at the front of your mat, and then step back to one leg dog. Lift that right leg back and up. One leg vinyasa time. After you get to or return to downward dog, we got to get the feet back up to the top of the mat. So walk or take 2 big steps, maybe a hop, fold into your legs, and then inhale, rise up, stretch the arms up overhead, and then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We're gonna do that series on the second side. That means you're gonna bring your weight into your left foot. Put a little bend, so just micro bend into that left knee. Keep your gaze out in front of you. And then bend your right knee, bringing the right foot behind you. Reach back with your strap or your right hand. Grab onto your foot. We'll take a couple of breaths here, sending some energy into the right quad, allowing it to open. And then let's go for dancer. Take your left arm up. You're gonna try to keep that left bicep near your ear. Take a breath in to lengthen up, and then as you exhale, hinge forward at your hip. Reach your chest out in front as you push your foot back behind. Maybe try to keep that left bicep near your ear. And then inhale, come back up, still balancing, standing pigeon. Cross the right ankle above the left knee. Hands come to your heart. Shift your hips back, really reaching towards the wall behind you, and then hips down a little bit. Yes, working on the balance, working on the hip opening, and there's also a back bend here, so you're pulling the shoulders back. Y'all look great. Inhale, lift back up, and then plant the right foot down. Inhale, both arms to the sky, stretch up. Exhale, float down to the earth, fold in. Inhale, lengthen out. I'll see you in downward dog. Use your breath to guide you. Try not to rush through this vinyasa. Let breath take you from pose to pose. All right, friends, from downward dog, inhale, lift your left leg high, muscles on the back of the leg, work to do that. And then one time, exhale, knee comes into nose, nose comes into knee, lift the back up towards the ceiling, and then plant your left foot at the top of your mat. Come up to warrior 2. Once you're settled in that warrior 2, rotate your arms until your palms are turning up towards the ceiling. Keep your gaze out in front, out past that left hand. And then as you inhale, straighten the front leg, bring the arms up overhead. See if you can get the right fingers to match the left fingers. And then exhale, lower back down. It's just training to figure out where your body is in space. Inhale, lift up. Fingers touch, leg straightens. Yeah, exhale, lower down. One more time, lift. See if those fingers touch. And then exhale, lower back down. Windmill your hands down to the floor, lift the back heel up, sweep the left leg back and up. We're going for standing splits at the back of the mat. So you got to walk the hands back, stand on the right foot, fold over the right leg, and really reach that left heel up towards the ceiling. And then bring it down to the floor. Standing forward bend at the back of your mat. Inhale, rise up. We're going to lift the arms overhead and keep them there for now. Bring your weight into your left foot. Bring the right knee up to hip height. Strong core, reach that leg straight out and then plant it about halfway forward on your mat. Airplane pose. It's like warrior 3, but your hands are back by your hips. Inhale, lift back up. Balancing on the right, bringing the left knee to hip height. On your exhale, straighten the leg right out in front of you. Exhale, plant it right at the top of your mat, and then come to half moon pose. Left foot and left fingertips down on the ground. Roll the top shoulder back. And then we change things up with a half moon sugar cane. Chapasana, bend the back knee, reach back with your hand. You can use a strap. Grab where you can, go slow here. The more slowly you go in your standing balance, the easier it will be to recover if you need to. Press your foot back into your hand. If your hand and foot are touching, roll your top shoulder open. It's a back bend. Maybe take your head back a little bit. Good job. And then release the foot. Stretch it down to the back of your mat. And then both hands down and one leg flow here. If that's what you did to end the first side. All right, this time, when you bring your feet forward, bring them about 2/3 of the way forward on your mat. You got a lot of room out in front of you on that mat. We're going to use it in a bit. Inhale, lift up, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to our hearts. So I'm going to show you, I call it the double toe sit. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then you can decide if you want to do it. We're going to bring the inner edges of the big toes together, heels just a little bit apart. So hands at the heart. To come down, you're going to try to keep the shoulders over the hips and bend the knees. At some point, your heels will come off the ground. And then this here is the double toe sit. This doesn't work for everybody's ankles and knees. So if that's not you, you're going to come into a standing forward bend. Otherwise, come with me into this double toe sit. Keep your gaze out in front. Inner edges of the big toes together. Bend the knees. Try to keep the hips over the heels. Try not to hinge forward at the hips. Lowering, the heels will lift. You're going to come all the way down, or you're in standing forward bend. If you're in the double toe sit, widen the knees apart and reach the hands down to the mat. Walk the hands forward. Fold. If your heels aren't on the ground, you're trying to reach them for the ground. And you're folding in a lot here. It's trying to stretch the outer hips, maybe inner thighs and low back. Or you're still in the forward bend. Start to walk your hands back in. It's crow pose time. So I'm going to talk you through it. If you know crow pose, you want to come into it, do any variations that you like, go for it. I'm going to talk the rest of us into crow. So if you're low in that double toe sit with the knees wide, you're going to plant your hands and start to lift the hips up and work those outer knees to clamp onto the upper arms. So like a butterfly squeezing in. We're going to fly here in a moment. If you're still standing, then you're going to bend the knees, widen them out, Bend the elbows to get you started. Clamp in a lot. That's a lot of inner thigh strength. Take your gaze forward, not just under your face, and then come as high as you can on your tiptoes, trying to get weight into your hands. You might go back and forth a couple of times, getting used to bearing weight on your hands. Really press those finger pads into the floor. Maybe lift one foot, lift the other foot, trying to squeeze the inner feet towards one another. And then we flow. Maybe if you're still in crow pose, you can shoot the feet back to chaturanga, or take any flow here, stepping the feet to the back of the mat. It was good work in that crow pose. Okay, from downward dog, lift your right leg back and up, bend your knee, twist open. Inhale, stretch the leg back, square the hip. On an exhale, lunge your right foot up between your hands. We're gonna lower the back knee to the floor, and it's gonna be on the floor a while. So I recommend that you pad it with a beach towel, a shirt, your mat, whatever you have at hand here. So we've got the right arm on the outside of the right leg, and I want you to pin that right leg into that right arm. Take your left fingers behind the left ear and point your left elbow out to the side. We're going to open up the upper back here, mid and upper back. As you inhale, twist up. So point that left elbow up, take your gaze up past the elbow, pulling the left ribs back. And as you exhale, twist down, reaching that left elbow down towards the right inner leg. Inhale, lift back up. As you're twisting open, keep that right leg pinned against the right arm. Exhale, twist down. One more time to twist up. And one more time to twist down. And then lower your left hand to the mat. Sweep your right arm forward, and you're going to take your hips forward, chest forward, everything reaching forward, and then reach that right arm up. We're going to semicircle, take it back behind us, and then bend your left knee. See if your right hand can grab the inside of your left foot. You can use a strap to bridge that gap if you're not there. So right hand grabbing the inside of the left foot. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, bow inside the right leg. You're going to bend that left arm like a chaturanga arm. And then inhale, lift up, push your foot into your hand, look back over your shoulder. 2 more times. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift and twist. 1 more time. Exhale, takes you low. Inhale, lifts you up, and then you open up those butterfly wings, lower your back foot to the ground, and then circle that right arm back out in front and down to the ground. Tuck your toes under on the back foot, lift the back knee up, and then pull that back foot in a couple of inches, lower the heel to the ground, and then straighten the right leg. We're gonna fold over the right leg, pyramid pose, or Parsvottanasana. Yeah, you can have your hands on blocks, have as much of a bend as you need in that front leg. All right. Get your palms flat onto the mat. Take a one-leg dog. So that's your right leg that reaches back and up. As you exhale, 1 time, pull the knee into the nose and then shoot the right foot over to the left. Outer edge of the right foot is way off the left side of the mat. Spin the back heel down and then lift that left arm into the air. You're going to keep everything like it is. You're just going to lower your hips down to the ground. Yep. Like a cheerleader who fell out of her pyramid. And then turn your toes to point up towards the ceiling. You're facing back towards that back left corner of your mat. And then hands aren't, our legs aren't really wide, they're semi-wide. Bring your hands between the legs and fold forward. Inhale, start to walk back up. You're going to turn towards the front of your mat. So for now, keep the legs as they are. As you turn, bring your hands to the front of your mat. Tuck the toes under on the back foot, lift that back leg up, and then press back to one leg dog. See if you can keep that right leg straight the whole time you travel it back and up to one leg dog. And then you can take a one leg flow here. All right, bring your feet 3/4 of the way forward, or 2/3, 3/4. Come on forward. Bring the inner edges of the big toes together, heels just a little bit apart, and then inhale, rise up, arms up high, exhale, hands to your heart. So we're gonna go for that double toe sit again, or if that's no bueno for you, you're gonna come into a standing forward fold. So for that double toe sit, try to keep the shoulders over the hips the whole time without hinging forward. Finding your balance, it gets easier once you get all the way down. And then widen the knees out. We're all going for crow pose again. So plant your hands. Everything is connected, every body part. I know you think, oh, I just need stronger arms or stronger core, and then I can do crow. But it's really about leveraging the whole body. Widen the knees out, lift the hips up a little, squeeze the inner knees onto the outer arms, look forward, bend the elbows, a lot of pressure into the fingertips. Lift one foot, lift the other foot. Try to squeeze the inner feet together, even if they're not touching. That's going to turn on your core more. And then shoot back to chaturanga, or lower your feet down and then step back to downward dog. You can take a vinyasa here or skip it. And then from downward dog, inhale, left leg back and up. Bend your knee, twist open. Get long into the left side. Inhale, stretch your leg back, square your hip. Exhale, lunge your foot up to the top of your mat, between your hands, lower your back knee to the floor. Go ahead and put that padding underneath it. There's no reason to have knee pain here and just try to tolerate that. Pin your left leg against your left arm. Take your right fingers behind your right ear, point the elbow out to the side. And now we twist up as you inhale. Keep that left leg against the left arm. Don't let it drift into the middle. Exhale, twist down. Elbow touches or gets close to the left inner leg. Inhale, twist up. Exhale, down. One more time, up. And then exhale, down. Release your hand down to the mat. Now you're going to reach that left arm forward. Pull everything forward, hips forward, chest forward, and then circle the arm up and back behind you. Bend your back knee. See if your left hand can find your inner right foot. You can use a strap to lasso your foot here. Take a breath in as you exhale, bow forward, draw your heel with you as you bow forward. Inhale, lift up, twist around to the left, look over the left shoulder. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, lift and twist. One more time, go low. And then inhale, lift up, push your foot back, and then gently release it. Let it float down like a butterfly, floats down to the ground. Hands on either side of the front leg. Tuck the toes under on the back foot. Lift the back knee, pull the back foot in just a little bit, an inch or two. Lower the back heel, straighten the left leg, and fold down into it. All right. Bend back into that left knee, palms down onto the ground. One leg dog, take the left leg back and up. And then one time, bring your left knee in towards your nose in towards your left knee, and then shoot the left foot over to the right. Spin the back heel down, lift your right hand up, lift, lift, lift here. And then as you exhale, just lower your hips down to the ground. Turn your toes to point up towards the ceiling. You're facing the back right corner of your mat. Bring your hands between your legs, fold in. Your legs are what I call semi-wide. So you know wide legs, where you go there. And you know legs together. This is in between somewhere. Okay. We got to get back to the front of the mat. So inhale, lift up. For now, legs stay where they are. Bring your hands to the front, fingertips pointing forward. Tuck the toes under on the back foot and lift the whole back leg off the mat. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift the hips up. Try to keep that left leg straight as you lift it back and up behind you. That's one leg dog. Last one leg vinyasa. If you want it, it's yours. Everything in the body connected. We're all connected through our breath. All right, from here, from downward dog, bring your right leg forward in pigeon prep. So let's take a little bit of time to figure out how to situate that right leg so that we won't have pain. You bring the right knee behind the right wrist and then widen it out just a little bit. And then you can reach back with your left hand and pull the shin forward. So we all have different bodies. If your wiring is tight in your hip, you'll probably want that shin to angle back more. So if your shin is more forward, say parallel to the front of the mat or close to that, you're going to press the outer edge of the right foot into the ground. If your shin angles back more, you're going to put the top of the foot on the ground and press the top of the foot and the tops of the toes into the floor. All of that activity in the foot is going to help protect your knee because it makes your outer shin muscles work. Once you're situated, come on down to elbows or elbows on blocks. Some of you may stretch your arms out in front and lower your forehead to the floor. If you are having pain in your knee or your ankle in this pigeon, then come onto your back and take reclining pigeon again. So that'll be your right ankle crossed above your left knee. You have a lot more control in the reclining pigeon than you do in the regular pigeon. In the regular pigeon, gravity is pushing you down a lot. If you're in the reclining pigeon, come up to a seat. If you're in regular pigeon, start to walk your hands back. Take a little back bend here, lifting up through the heart, and then sit over onto your right hip. We're going to swing that left leg around in front. So we're back to this figure four shape, only the left leg is crossing on top of the right ankle. We're going to come into a back bend here. It's called shooting star. I call it Juliasana because my friend Julia taught the pose to me. Take your right hand behind you. So right fingers point to the back of your mat. Don't have your hand right underneath your shoulder. Take it back a little bit, about an inch. Stretch the left arm out in front. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, you're going to circle around to the right, putting weight into your left foot, your right knee, your right hand, And then bring your left arm over your ear, let your head go, tilt your head back, try to pull the left ribs back a little bit. And then to get out of the pose, you circle out the way you circled in, lowering the hips down. And then if you're going for regular pigeon with the left leg in front, then you're going to come back to downward dog. So you circle that left leg back and come to downward dog. If you're going to come into reclining pigeon, then you just come onto your back. Left ankle above the right knee and pull in. If you're still in downward dog, bring that left leg forward for pigeon prep. So wherever your hands are in downward dog, you take that left knee behind the left wrist a little bit wider. Find the angle of your shin that gives you opening in the outer hip, but not pain. And then make the foot work. If the shin is more forward, press the outer edge of the little toe down. If the shin is more back, put the top of the foot on the floor and press the top of the foot down. All of that action in the foot means that the shin is working. It's going to help protect your outer knee, and then start to lower down to whatever depth works for you. Generally in pigeon, we try to square the hips up. It's hard to do because we've got one leg way in front of the other. So think about drawing the front of your right hip closer to the floor. If you're in regular pigeon, start to walk your hands back. Find a back bend here. Again, lifting the ribs up away from the top rim of the pelvis, taking your gaze up, and then sit over onto your left hip. Bring the right leg around in front. So this is where we're all meeting. If you did the reclining pigeon, then we're all meeting here in this figure 4 shape, but we've got the right leg crossed on top of the left ankle. Take your left hand behind, elbows pointing back, and then take your hand back a little bit so it's reaching away at a little bit of an angle here instead of right underneath. Take your right arm out in front, take a breath in, and then exhale to circle into your back bend. Press into your right foot, left knee, left hand, and then circle that right arm over your head, maybe even take it back behind you. Think about drawing the hips forward and the shoulder blades back. And then circle out the way you went into this pose. This time we're going to straighten the legs out on the mat, both of them. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Paschimottanasana, straight leg, seated forward fold. And then inhale, come up, bend your knees, soles of the feet on the floor, and then roll down onto your back. We're going to take one little back bend here. So this will be a little bridge pose. We've already done a fair number of standing back bends, the shooting star. So just lift your hips, open up the front of the body. We were just in that seated forward bend. Now we're doing a back bend to open the front. These two are connected. They seem different, forward bend and back bend, but they're still connected. Lower down. Hug your knees into your chest, rock across your back. Everything connected in this unseeable web. Let's take a happy baby pose. Reach up, grab your feet, Widen the knees out, pull them down towards the floor. If it feels good here, you can rock across your back. If that's too much pressure, just stay in stillness. And then exhale, release, stretch the legs out. It is Shavasana time. If there were some poses that you were jonesing for today that you didn't get, probably don't at this point do like a crazy arm balance or back bend. But if there's some gentle stretch that you need here that you didn't get, go for it. Otherwise, stretch your body out for corpse pose. If you've got room in your personal yoga studio, spread out a little bit more. Why not take the legs a little bit wider? Why not take the arms a little bit wider? Open up those butterfly wings. Come back into feeling sensation in your body. Notice how your back body connects to the earth. And notice how your front body connects to sky. Earth and sky are in some ways opposites, but they are connected. They're connected right now in your body. Let your intentional breath go and just let a natural breath pour in and pour out. Take another moment here in stillness to feel earth beneath you and sky above you. Begin to awaken, emerge from your cocoon, move your fingers and then roll your wrists one way and another. Wave your toes and then roll your ankles one way and then another. Stretch your wings, your arms overhead, reach your legs long, make your body long here. So really grow, break out of your cocoon. And then on an exhale, roll to your side. Take a moment here to honor yourself, honor your practice, a practice that allows you to emerge with beautiful colors, with big wings, so that you can fly to the heights that are right for you. Make your way up to a seat, any seat that feels comfortable for you. And then from your seat, draw your hands to your heart and close your eyes. I hope that as you go through your day, you will continue weaving a web out of the strands of your life, a web that allows you to transform into maybe just somebody who has a stronger body with leaner muscles, but possibly a butterfly who is able to sprinkle her dust, her fairy dust all over, sharing your joy, sharing your talent. Let's take a moment here, collect our energy. We'll send it to anybody who is sick, anybody who is in need. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.